Hi everyone, I am Heather, and I want to welcome you to Magnificent Authors Podcast, brought to you by Magnificent Mamas. This is the show where we'll celebrate the magic of storytelling and the power of words. I'm your host, Heather, and each week I'll be sitting down with incredible authors from all walks of life to explore their creative journeys, uncover their writing secrets, and delve into worlds they create. Whether you are an aspiring writer, a passionate reader, or simply curious about the minds behind your favorite books, this is the podcast for you. So grab a cozy blanket, pour yourself a cup of tea, and get ready to be inspired by the magnificent authors who join us. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone. I am Heather with Magnificent Mamas and Magnificent Authors Podcast. We have two very special visitors today. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. I'm Amanda Skou, author of Superhero Joey, and this is my other co-author.
Joey Skou.
It's really nice to meet you both. And thank you, Joey, for coming on as well today.
Thank you.
I know it's probably a little nervous and whatnot, so it's very appreciated. Do you guys want to tell us a little bit about the book?
Superhero Joey's World. I can show you a photo of the cover, maybe not so much.
I like that.
Is about a superhero that has seizures and epilepsy, and he goes to a class and learns about first aid of treating seizures, and then he helps a girl with finds out that she's having a seizure and helps a girl out. So it's a lesson in friendship, and it's made out of comic strips. So it's a comic book. So it's fun to read. Photos. Yep. And very entertaining for people of all ages, from preschool all the way through adults. I've been told by many adults that they learned so much that they never knew about epilepsy seizures.
You know, we need more things like that out there. I know so many people are still on the spoon in the mouth thing, and it's like, no, don't do that.
Yes.
Like, the things that they think they're supposed to do is like the complete opposite.
Right.
And it's so sad that people don't know how to handle somebody, actively having a seizure. So
I think it's like one in...
What would you... Go ahead.
I said, I think it's like 1 in 26 that have seizures nowadays. So.
Oh yeah, I believe it. I've known quite a few people. Actually, it's pretty funny, I think. My daughter has 2 older brothers, on her dad's side, and the mom of the 2 older brothers also has seizures.
Wow.
So I find that kind of funny,
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, we have a genetic disorder that I guess I carry, but Joey has a younger brother and they both have seizures. Then we found out it's genetic, and it's a new genetic disorder that was found in 2016 is when they discovered it.
Oh, wow.
So it's fairly new. Ironically, his brother was born in 2016, and it was discovered the month and year he was born. So.
Oh, wow. And do you have seizures too, or no?
I don't have seizures that I've known.
That you know about, yeah.
Staring one, I don't know. As a kid, I did a lot of that, but
yeah.
Never diagnosed officially. So.
And Joey, does he have seizures?
Yeah, he does. He has the tonic-clonic, which is how we discovered he had seizures. And had very little knowledge myself of epilepsy and seizures until he had them, and I had to crash course into figuring it all out. So.
Yep, and I'm still used to them calling them grand mal seizures.
Yeah,
but
they actually have moved to that, I think, now.
Yeah, that'll always be what it's called. I have that too, so I understand how it feels. And then I have the staring off ones, and
The
stuff.
petite, what do they call it? Petite mall with petite.
Yep.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Absence is the way I learned it.
Yeah, that's what they call it now, and it's like I'm just used to the original names.
Right.
So, Joey in your story is a superhero.
Yep.
And based off of your son, I'm assuming.
Right. Yep.
And you mentioned you have another son. Does he appear in the story at all, or
Not this one.
not this
He
one?
will be featured in a feature one, but probably
Okay.
story 2 or 3. I'm working on them, and it's been ironically, I just realized it's been 4 years since this book came out, and I'm still in the process of the rest of them. They are being processed. I gotta figure out the art in it, and the story's written. Just gotta get the art and everything complete.
Definitely. The art that you have in that first book is awesome.
Yeah.
I would read it, and
Okay.
it looks good. I'm sure it reaches a wide variety of ages as well.
It does. Yep. Preschool all the way through adults, really. But yeah, I made it for about 8 or 9 years old, but so they can take the book to school and explain the basics to their teachers and the classmates. That's what it was written for.
What kind of topics do they discuss?
Just the first aid portion of it right now. And then I have some storyline going in the future ones about different types of seizures. So that's the ones that I had known about. So
yeah. Did you help your mom write the story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you got a lot of input in the story?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of like it went through like how he discovered he had seizures and kind of what he went through, the first stages to discovery.
Yeah. It can be a little scary and stressful for sure.
Yeah, he was 4 almost 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he was diagnosed. So he was in preschool when he had his first one. Luckily, his teacher knew what was going on, and I got a phone call saying, I think he's having a seizure or something. And yeah, made the fastest trip to his school.
I believe it. I believe it. I haven't had a experience like that with my own children, but they've had experiences with me.
With you.
So I get it.
Yeah.
If you could share about another major health condition, I'd say, like this, what would you share about?
Well, along with the genetic disorder, there's it's called pandas, not panda, like the disorder with strep throat and stuff, but it's pandas, and it's it has the shape. I'm trying to remember all the symptoms that it ataxia is included in the genetic disorder. And so ataxia is when you're when you have like shaking, or you're not just because of the seizures, but there's like a tremor type thing. And then in advanced stages, like you could lose the ability to the ataxia, like they're wheelchair bound, and it's a very bad complication to the genetic disorder besides the seizures, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot as it is.
Right. Our younger son my younger son, his younger brother, has a lot of the worst effects from the epilepsy. He had a different type of seizure too. And that's how he discovered that it's genetic and went through the testing to see what was causing it. So yeah.
The testing for a lot of that is never fun. I know I just got through early December, I think it was. an EEG or whatever it is on your head at home for 3 days, and I have like a spot from it still because it was like an allergic reaction from the adhesive. And my head was so swollen and it hurt so bad. And I kept telling them, I was like, my head is really hurting in these 2 spots where they had this stuff. And they're like, oh, well, just loosen the gauze around your head. And it's like, you're not understanding me. It should not be hurting like this.
Right.
But yeah, the tests are never fun.
No. His brother was in the hospital. Well, he's just been like, I don't know, 24, 48 hours, I think, doing those tests. But we always end up in the hospital. We've never been at home. But they go to Children's Hospital, and so they treat them like it's fun. In fact, when they were younger, they're like, can we go to the hospital again? Because we want to play video games. And they get to do all sorts of fun things.
It sounds like it's a good hospital and whatnot for sure. So not like a boring, scary type of
they make
vibe hospital.
Scary, right? Almost too much fun though.
I mean, with the white walls and
yeah,
it's just no fun. What would you like to see in the second book?
I'll let you take that.
Okay. I'd like to see like my brother like help like a person out if they have like a seizure because he's experienced some.
How would you make the person having the seizure feel during it? Would they be scared?
Um,
Or would it be okay? Not scared.
I don't know.
It's okay. It's okay to not know how you would answer a question. Do you guys have any plans to write other types of books?
Yeah, I have one in the making. A relative of mine asked me to make a book for them. So
nice.
It's more well, I have one it's about disabilities in general, like, and then I have they're all on the writing block, or they're ready to be published except for the layout of the stuff. So
that's awesome. I can't wait to see. Are they all going to be like the graphic novel images like you have for this story?
Well, I'm hoping to get something similar to that. So
nice. Do you plan to write your own books when you get older? What type of books do you plan to write?
I'm not sure. Like graphic novels, like my mom.
It's definitely a popular area, and surprising I haven't had more graphic novels on here really as much.
They have a comic book store in our town. So they are in demand.
That's awesome. I live in a small town and we don't have anything, so it sucks. Who's your favorite character in the story?
I would say me. I don't know for sure.
Of course.
You have a favorite? That's perfectly fine. That's a good answer. I mean, if I was in a story, I'd want to be the favorite character. Is there any character you dislike?
No, not really.
Not really? Well, that's good. All positivity.
Yeah. I guess I did good.
Was there anything really challenging about writing this book?
Yeah, actually it was written over the coronavirus era. So we were all summoned, or we had to stay home. So it was interesting on how I wrote it with a publisher. And so at that time, And so we were using like a storyboard that all of us could have access to in an email. And that's how we would communicate. So we never met face to face while I was putting the book together. So that has its challenge.
A lot of people seem to take the time during COVID to sit down and write. And I think that's awesome because a lot of people discovered their creative side. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It
I
helps.
was working during COVID, so I would have loved to have all that time to sit home and write and whatnot.
We couldn't. The job I was in, I couldn't. We had to stay home, but we had to adapt and change over to a computer. I wasn't writing. I wasn't a writer at the time. This was So it just kind of struck me in the middle of it, and I just sat down and wrote some, and then talked with the publisher, and they accepted it, and we went on from there.
That's exciting. So you went traditionally with publishing then?
Yeah, it was kind of a tradition. It was a publisher, but they it's a special. It's not a fully.
Was it like hybrid or vanity or something?
That's what I'm trying to think of. Thank you.
Yeah. It's not bad. Did you enjoy the experience?
For the most part, yeah. Going through it, and I learned a lot of stuff for myself, so that I was able to take that knowledge and then create my own business and go from there.
That's awesome. What do you hope that readers take away from this book?
The friendships that they make, and then obviously the knowledge of seizures. Putting an awareness out there.
Is there anything you hope that they take away?
How much like they learn like from the book, and like try to help someone if they're having a seizure.
More knowledge on what to do. Yeah.
That's important. I've said this before, but it's so important. And you never know who's going to end up having a seizure, you know?
Right.
You could be around someone and then one day it happens. People don't always know what to do.
Right. There was
go ahead.
There's a story that I had heard about a guy that had a seizure, and he was at a train station and fell onto the tracks just before the train came, and another person swooped in and pushed them in the middle so that the train went over them. So they survived, both of them. But yeah, just to be able to jump in that situation, you know, having the knowledge of understanding, oh my gosh, this guy is having a seizure, to jump in, and because every second counts when it comes to that, because your brain is essentially stopping. So
well, that's, you know, the first thing they say is to make sure that the person having a seizure is in a safe spot where they're not going to hurt themselves.
Right.
So
or get hurt.
On the train tracks, definitely not a safe spot.
Right. Exactly.
What type of locations does the character in the story have seizures at?
It's a park. They were on a swing set. Yeah. So that's
be a little painful.
Yeah. So he came across while she was in the middle of a seizure, and then because he was flying and he could, you know, use his glasses to see.
Nice.
His special glasses. You know, like those.
Yes. You have very cute glasses, by the way.
Thank you.
They look really good.
Thank you.
Makes him look like a little cutie pie.
He's always been. He hasn't really changed a lot other than group.
Yeah. I went back and looked at my daughter's pictures the other day, and I was like, she looks the same, just taller.
Yeah.
Like, can you stop growing for 5 minutes?
I know the feeling.
Stay the same age for a little bit and go from there. Do you think that writing was a helpful outlet for the experiences you guys have gone through?
Yes, definitely. It helped me navigate, because there's a lot of feelings when you first get a child or yourself probably diagnosed. That part I haven't experienced, but having a child, it just turns your world upside down. You don't know what to do. I'd only seen somebody have a seizure one time when I was in a church setting, and
Mhm.
that was as far as I knew about epilepsy at that time. And then the first couple of years navigating the medicines and worrying about him having a seizure at school and getting that dreaded phone call from the nurse, which
Oh, yeah.
a lot of times they'll say, this is okay. It's not your child's fine. I just need this, or, if it's not
Yeah,
if you get a phone call from the nurse, yeah,
that's
it
rough.
makes your heart stop. I'm sure you experienced
Oh,
that
yeah.
too.
Do you feel like you had to do a lot of research?
Yes, I did a ton of research during the book process and on my own
Mhm.
beforehand, just navigating on what to do and his types of seizures, and then my other son's types of seizures too. So
Well, as you mentioned, the pandas, or however you
yeah,
pronounce it correctly, because I don't want to
it's
mispronounce
a
it,
it's
but
a
you seem to have done research on a ton of stuff
right.
involving seizures and whatnot.
Feel like sometimes I could be a doctor with all the research I've done. I just don't
Yeah,
have the certification.
it's wild. Like,
I know
I
there's a
thought
lot.
I knew a decent amount, but I've never heard of that, and it's definitely
Yeah,
makes me want to go jump down the rabbit hole and do some research again and
it's
whatnot.
EUM-1 is another name for the genetic. So for genetic disorders in the past, or any kind of disease, it was usually
Mhm.
named after the person that discovered it, the doctor or scientist or whoever it was that discovered, different diseases and illnesses. But
Yeah.
since um, like 2020, I would, or no, not even 2016 is when ours was discovered. They named it after the symptoms or what you were
Hmm.
experiencing nowadays. So that's why it's got a weird name and not somebody's last name or something like that. So,
That's
um,
weird.
so there isn't a ton of research out there. If you Google it, you'll find I do have a blog, and you can see it's Superhero Joey's World. I do
Nice.
talk about this is sad, but I haven't written in a while. But I do have some information out there on the genetic disorder that we have. So all the details, and then some family things about seizures and epilepsy. And I'm going to
It's
plan.
so important. Sorry.
That's okay. For the new year, I plan to go and write some more. That's my New Year's resolution.
It's always a plus.
Yeah,
When do you have your next book coming out?
I don't have a date set yet, but I'm hoping in 2025 that I will
Nice. You'll
kick
have to let
myself.
me know for sure.
Yeah.
I like your shirts. You're both wearing
Yeah.
epilepsy shirts.
It says seizure smart, and then on the back there's a whole bunch of what to do if you see somebody with seizures. And then
Nice.
we did a walk back in 21. And so it's just epilepsy awareness. So
That's awesome. Gotta love supporting a
right,
cause like that so many people experience that people just don't understand.
right. Um, that reminds me, for every book that I sell, I donate $2 back to the Epilepsy Foundation, or
Oh,
a
that's
cause of
awesome.
epilepsy. Yeah.
That is exciting. That's
Mhm.
a really good thing to do. I feel like there's some authors that write in a genre similar to this that, are trying to raise money for causes as well. And I think, you know, it's so important. And it's so important to try to help raise the money for the research and
Yeah.
whatnot, because there's so much testing and trying to make new medicines that help and,
Mhm.
cures for some things. And it doesn't happen overnight and costs a lot of money.
Yes. Our insurance hates us.
Oh, yeah. Mine, let's see. I'm on 2 different seizure pills. One of them is like without insurance, like $700 or $800 a month, I think.
Wow.
And I take 6 of those a day.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that would be a little pricey.
Yeah. Mhm. For
Get
sure.
it. I think I take 8 seizure pills total a day. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, it kind of sucks,
Yeah.
but it is what it is. I have a good support system. My family's really good and helpful, so that's important.
Yeah.
That everyone knows what to do and whatnot. I had a really bad seizure. I'm not going to go into detail on how bad it was, but I was majorly lucky that my husband was home, his dad was home, my daughter was home, and they were able to. I'm trying to word this right because I don't want
Oh.
to, make him afraid of stuff, but they were able to get things moving the way they're supposed to be moving and get EMS there to go to the hospital, and it was just a really bad experience. I don't
Yeah.
want to.
Oh,
I'm sure you can figure out which direction I'm going with that.
Yeah. We've had some experiences.
Mhm.
When he was young, before he was diagnosed, he was at the Y playing basketball. So they had a group and he had a seizure there and 2 at school. But after we got his diagnosis and got him on medication and he got home from the hospital, the tonic-clonics have stopped with the meds.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Mhm.
The staring off
Mhm.
I think
Like
we're getting that under control.
Yeah, sometimes.
I do the staring off like every day, so I'm just used to it. It sucks.
Mhm.
He had an aura. He told me like he'd say like the back of of a car, the taillights would flicker, but he would get that sensation. So it was like an aura of flashing lights or something that he said
Yeah.
ahead of time.
Most of the time, I've never known when it's going to happen. I know one time I remember I was at the grocery store with my husband's sister, and I was like, "Ooh, I don't feel right." And she's like, she knew I was going to have a seizure, and she's like, "Do you think we can finish the grocery shopping?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm good." Because she was like needing to know how soon we needed to, leave.
Leave, yeah.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm good." Made it to the next aisle. I'm on the floor having a seizure.
Oh, wow.
So I was wrong on that one. Like, I can't make it that far.
Guess not.
But I think it was kind of funny looking back at it, like, I don't know,
Yeah.
sad, but
Yeah.
you gotta
have this
sometimes,
sense of humor to
yes, definitely.
and this
So I do have to get ready to wrap up. If you want to add anything special, anything upcoming, any tips for aspiring authors, that type of thing.
for inspiring authors, if you want to write your book and you're not sure where to go, write it, and then you can either talk to a publisher or you can do it yourself. There's lots of resources online that you can go to, but write it. If you feel like you have something that you want to write about or aren't sure if you should, write it anyway, and you can always, you have that for yourself, that you knew that you tried or you became successful. Maybe you'll be the next Harry Potter sensation or something. You
Oh my
never know.
goodness, that would be amazing.
I get a lot of people asking me about the writing process and things, and part of me is like, maybe I should become a publisher.
Maybe that's your calling.
Yeah. Better write some more books first.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Regular. I'm super excited to help, and I can't wait to check out your book sometime and have you guys back on the show and hear how things are going and whatnot. So
be happy to
it's
come
been
back.
a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Like, spread the word.
Definitely.
It's getting worse and worse with people.
And that's a wrap on another episode of Magnificent Authors Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was a pleasure to share another inspiring conversation with a talented author. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to Magnificent Authors Podcast so you don't miss any of our upcoming conversations with amazing writers. And be sure to check out Magnificent Mamas on our website, which is www.magnificentmamas.us, or on our Facebook page for more inspiring content from incredible authors. I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's episode. What resonated with you the most? Head over to Facebook or leave a comment on our website and let me know. Until next time, keep reading, keep writing, and keep those imaginations soaring.